picks up win number 3 in 2007.
Pick. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhardt will come to the caution flag to win the Daytona 500. 3 and 4, make room. Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. There's another 7-time champ. Jimmy Johnson wins his 7th NASCAR Sprint Cup championship.
Welcome back to the Slide Job Podcast. I'm your host, Colton Smith, here joined by producer Josh Northcutt and co-host Ben Miller. Fellas, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Obviously my brother, he had his surgery on Monday, so everything went well, and just been pretty much been taking care of him. So, how about you guys this week?
Glad to hear he's doing well.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I agree with that. I'll be nice for a second, Ben, and not say anything bad. I do wholeheartedly agree. I'm glad to hear everything's going all right with that. For me, it's been a busy week. Writing a whole bunch of articles. My goal is to do 67 football articles over the next 67 days. To say that my girlfriend is not too happy with me right now is a little bit of an understatement, but we'll get through these 67 days. What about you, Colton? I assume you're in a pretty good mood. Game 7 on Sunday.
Yeah, we're in about as good as mood as you can get right now, especially for somebody who thought the season was over going into yesterday. So, that's going to be a lot of fun on Sunday. But before that, I got some NASCAR to watch. But let's go ahead and get into our docket here. We got Tony Stewart making his return to NASCAR, apparently. Breaking news off the presser today. Major Mexico penalties or fines, if you want to call it that. And we have a new street course that apparently will be making its debut next year. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Also, be sure to check us out on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. If you want to hear this will be out a day before you guys are seeing it on YouTube. So be sure to go check that out as well. We're getting very active on that and all our social medias. We'll talk about that a little later, though. Let's talk about the Tony Stewart making his return to NASCAR. It was reported by Daily Downforce, which I think is mostly an accurate website, and maybe it was a little bit of a clickbait title for sure. But essentially what it was, Kevin Harvick was talking to Dodge Ram director, what's his name? Let's see, where's it at? I thought I had it pulled up here. My bad. Okay, CEO Tim Kuniskis. That's how I'm going to say it. Tim Kuniskis is CEO of Dodge Ram. And essentially, they were talking about Ram joining the Truck Series. We obviously reported that. But Harvick went ahead and prompted the question, hey, Tony Stewart has a Dodge team in NHRA. His drag racing team that he competes and owns is a Dodge team. So you got Tony Stewart in your kind of portfolio, as he said. Could you convince him to drive a truck, own a team? Is there any chance that Tony could re-emerge as a Cup owner? Kuniskis didn't really have much of a response. He said, a lot of people said that when I was at Michigan International Speedway and made the announcement. Are you just fishing for a team to see who stands up? And he didn't hear anything from Tony. And saying that we'll see where it all ends up. I'm sure Tony probably is at least thinking about it, right? There's probably some sort of conversation that has been had. But what do you guys think about it? Ben, I'll let you start. What do you think about this rumor, and what do you think the chances are that we do see Tony Stewart make his return to NASCAR with Dodge?
I mean, obviously, I would love to see Smoke back in NASCAR, and I had no idea that in the NHRA that he owns a team that's associated with Dodge. That's quite interesting. But I feel like the chances of him making a possible NASCAR return, I feel like in a way it's a little bit slim, though, because, he recently just got out of it, though. Obviously, we know Stewart Haas Racing shut down their doors, and how he doesn't like the direction NASCAR is going right now as a sport. So I feel like in a way that might play a role. So, I feel like that's where I stand right now.
As for me, I'm going to say there's a good chance that it happens. I think maybe he could be missing it a little bit. We also don't know what was going on behind the scenes at Stewart Hot Racing. Maybe he wanted some changes. Maybe Haas wasn't willing to do it. So if he can get another opportunity with somebody else and only have to worry about one car or one driver to begin with, I think there's a good chance he would come back. And personally, I would love to see it. NASCAR is better with smoke around. He's one of the He's one of the legends. He's easily a top. I'd say maybe borderline top 10, definitely top 20 driver of all time. And what he's done for just racing all around. Yes, I'm giving him a compliment for dirt racing. Do not attack me. All I'm saying is Tony is very important to racing, period. So if he's back in NASCAR, it'll be a great thing. What about you, Colton?
No, I absolutely agree. And it's like I said before I threw it to you guys. I think the thought has crossed his mind. I would be pretty certain on that. He seems very happy with his drag racing. I do think there was definitely some disagreements with him and Gene. Tony kind of tried to take the reins, and it just didn't really work out that last year, and so he left. I feel like he loved owning a NASCAR team, and I think he would very much like to return to that. How so? Well, me and Chinnery did predict Trackhouse Racing in our what if, saying Tony Stewart would become a part owner. They could use a part owner to steer them the right way, and could use being out of Hendrick's shadow at Chevy. So
Can you imagine Smoke mentoring Ross Chastain?
That would be something.
I mean, the dude's
happen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the dude's talented, and if he could get like the reins pulled back just a little bit, and maybe taught, okay, you can be aggressive at this point, because I mean, there was not many more drivers more aggressive than Tony. Obviously, this is going to be a fun question that we get to talk to Bull about on Sunday that I'm looking forward to, being that it is his favorite driver of all time. So I hope we get to see Tony back, because NASCAR misses him.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. I agree.
We absolutely do. But let's go ahead and circle back to Mexico, because there's still some stuff we got to clean up from there. The first of those will be Carson Hocevar getting fined $75,000 for his comments on stream before heading into Mexico. And essentially, his comments were along the lines of just not the travel and the Mexico not being that nice of a city, to put it in a nice way. He then backed up, or before he got fined, he did make a very long tweet, which honestly, as a dumb early 20s-year-old, I kind of somewhat understand where he could be not sensitive to what he's saying offhand on a stream. So I'm not like defending Hocevar, but I don't think he should necessarily be crucified for what he said, especially with all the rumors that were surrounding what it was going on in Mexico before. I don't think it was completely out of line, and I don't really think it was worth a $75,000 fine. But I do understand where Spire's coming from and where the fine does come from. And hopefully this is just a little learning on some sensitivity training, as opposed to making us lose what is a great personality in Carson Hocevar. Because we've lost Gregson, we've lost other people in the past to some insensitive stuff. But I really don't want to lose Hocevar, and as fun as he is. So, Josh, I'll let you start. What are your thoughts on this whole Hocevar situation? I know you weren't his biggest fan on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely not. But in all honesty, I think you said it best. It was a young person making a very insensitive comment. But that being said, I'll be the first to admit it. I'm 35 years old. Technology was around in the 20s, but social media wasn't the way it was. I'm also not somebody who had a camera in my face basically 24/7, whether I chose it or not. I know when you have that type of stature, different responsibilities come with you. But as you mentioned, I hope it's a learning experience. We don't lose the character that is Carson Hocevar, because it is the most entertaining driver right now in NASCAR every week, seeing what crazy nonsense he's about to pull off. And I just think it just fits him now perfectly to go to Hendricks even more.
Yeah.
He would be the second streamer to get canceled. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. But I feel like as I was processing all this, though, I thought the $75,000 fine was, I thought that was a bit too much, and the fact that they're donating the money to 3 organizations in Mexico, I kind of found that to be a little bit bizarre. But I mean, I know Carson Hocevar, he's a young driver, but in a way, he is trying to mature a little bit, and you just got to know like what the consequences are, and things that'll happen. I mean, you're representing NASCAR, you're representing Spire Motorsports, you're representing all your sponsors that you wear on your fire suit every single week, and you wear a NASCAR Cup Series patch on your fire suit. So I just feel like moving forward, Hocevar, he needs to be more aware of what he's on some of the things that he says. But overall, hopefully this is a learning experience for him for sure.
Yeah,
and I'm going to just sorry, Colton, not to cut you off. I'm just going to wrap up just saying this. I know it's a poor excuse, and it's not okay to word it this way, but I'm going to kind of borderline say it. It's also just a thing of technology being around way a bit more. A lot worse was said back when a lot of these boomers were growing up that just wasn't caught. So it's just knowing your surroundings and knowing, as you mentioned, Ben, who you're representing, because it's not just yourself when you're at Carson Hocevar. It is every single sponsor that is on your car, and very quickly could have just removed your name. We've seen it happen before where people get dropped left and right. So just got to be careful with that.
Yeah, both of you had some very good points there. And if you're curious what those boomers had to say, go ahead and take a look at Facebook, because it's all over there. Ben, the one point I wanted to point out, or one thing I wanted to say about your point was, I thought it was bizarre that the fine went to those foundations. I just asked, where did you want the fine to go? Do you want Spire to find their own driver and get the money from their driver, or did you want NASCAR to get the money, or where did you want the money to go?
To be honest, maybe I kind of overreacted a little bit, to be honest with you, making that statement. Gotcha. But
fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm going to say a lot of times, as cruel as it is to admit these kind of things behind the shadows, it's a PR move. It
absolutely was. Yes. So. Yeah. And we don't have to go too in detail on this one. Todd Boyd did get fired, though, for his comments, which were a lot more harsh than that of Carson Hocevar's comments. He will no longer be the spotter on the 47, and that's really that. I don't think there's much more to say on him. But we're sticking on the street course and in the southwestern corner of the states, and obviously Mexico being south of that, but staying on the western side of North America. That's the word I'm looking for. San Diego is apparently in talks with NASCAR of bringing a street course to San Diego as early as next season. This came out a couple days after Mexico, and some people thought that was replacing Mexico. I think, however, that is going to replace the Chicago street course, which I think has run its course in Chicago, as not too many people actually from Chicago really care for that, outside of NASCAR and I guess the officials, but even the officials are kind of iffy on that as well. So what do you guys think? Do you think how realistic do you think this is? And do you think that we'll see San Diego on the schedule next year?
Yeah, I definitely think there is a good possibility we do see San Diego on the schedule next year. I mean, yeah, I feel like with that race, it might replace the Chicago street race, though, because I did watch a couple of videos of fans being interviewed in Chicago, how much they do not like the Chicago street course. And I feel like San Diego would be a great spot for NASCAR to go because we no longer go to Auto Club Speedway. So I feel like the people in San Diego will enjoy a nice street race, and I feel like weather can be a factor versus Chicago because you get nicer weather over there. When in Chicago, you get more rain. So overall, I think Chicago or not Chicago, San Diego will be a great addition to the schedule next year.
Well, first off, I'm interested to see what the people of San Diego thinks because that place is already busy enough. It's California. They shut down the city for, well, I'm assuming like 3 days at least, right?
They do it at Long Beach once a year for like 25 years now.
Okay.
I think so.
But what were you saying? It'd be about a week, 2 weeks.
Just what
They do it at Las Vegas and Miami now for F1.
Correct. Yeah, it would just be interesting to see what they think because I mean that's always been my joke about San Diego is it's too crowded and it's too expensive. That's why I would never live there. But I do love it. Like it when you give me any place I've visited and I've visited a lot. San Diego is my favorite place on the planet. It is always beautiful, as Ben mentioned. It would probably be the one street course race that we wouldn't have to worry about rain. But because NASCAR's there, it will 100% rain in San Diego. So don't worry, your dry spell will be over. But yeah, no, I guess I'm okay with it. I actually got scared when I messaged in the chat. I'm like, does this mean we're going to have 3 of these darn things now? Like, are we talking like a third of the NASCAR races are now going to be road courses / street races? Because they're starting to pile on. And I kind of get it because, I mean, when you saw Mexico City, the money was there. The people were there. Now, will San Diego react the same way? We'll have to wait and see. But all in all, I'll kind of just hold off and wait and see what happens and maybe what it replaces. But I don't think it replaces Chicago just because I don't think they want to lose a race in the Midwest, like in the heart of the Midwest that everybody can go to though. Like Chicago is literally a hub that 90% of the places could fly directly into. It's easy travel, but I know you're bigger on the behind the scenes stuff, Colton. So if you're saying that a lot of people in NASCAR aren't a big fan of it, that could be
not NASCAR, the city of Chicago.
Oh, the city of Chicago itself.
Yeah, I know. Like from the get go, citizens haven't been too big fans of it, and then I think it's lost its favor with the city. So I think this was always meant to be a temporary thing, and I think it should be. I don't think we need to go to Chicago every year for the next 50 years. Like, let's give San Diego a chance. Ben mentioned Philadelphia. Let's not give Philadelphia a chance. He said that before the show. Let's not give Philly a chance. Give Cincinnati a street course. Holy, would that go fire?
There was rumors there talking about it, right?
Nashville's done a street course for Indy. There was like I think a year ago there was some rumors there. Nashville's done a street course, which I actually really loved Indy's street course for Nashville. They might still do that, to be honest. I forget. So I think it's a normal thing. IndyCar does it at multiple places. Toronto. And all of that to Toronto. They need to go to Toronto. That would be a really fun one. Whether you go to the Canadian Grand Prix track, Villeneuve, or you go to a street course in Toronto. I think that's a market we need to look into, for sure. But I think we definitely talked enough about our opening stuff. Let's go and do a quick fly the flag on the San Diego street course. We've talked about it, but Ben brought it up. Probably a good idea to put it here at the fly the flag. So I'll let you start, Ben. San Diego will replace Chicago next year on the schedule.
I'm gonna go green flag on this one. Like I said earlier, I feel like this will be a good thing for NASCAR. Get the fans in Southern California more engaged, and I just lost my train of thought. But the fans in Chicago, they really haven't been that thrilled with the Chicago street race. So I just feel like that's going to play a factor. And Yeah, I think there's a possibility we will see NASCAR head to San Diego next year.
Josh?
I'm going to throw to yellow just because I don't know enough about what's going on behind the scenes. Colton, I do trust you. When you say those kind of things, it makes me believe that it would be a possibility. But I'm also questioning whether we have Mexico City next year. Has that been confirmed or denied yet, Colton?
Has not been confirmed or denied.
Okay, so that would be my one hesitant of quote unquote replacing it. Would they want the quote unquote West Coast to have both street races and not one over here on the East Coast / Midwest?
It's a good point. That's a fair point. And there's a lot of other cities that I think could definitely fit into that category. I'm gonna go yellow, but green flag on Chicago being done. I'm pretty certain this will be our last for now. Maybe in a decade down the line they can bring it back, but I think it's time to rotate and try somewhere else. And I think NASCAR has that idea as well. So I do think this is the last Chicago race. I'll throw yellow on it being San Diego. Pretty greenish yellow. I feel like if we got this indicator, if Bianchi found out, then it's a pretty good chance that it is pretty far in the far stages of it happening. So that leads me to believe that we will probably go to San Diego, but there could be other ones. Cincinnati would be chef's kiss, though. I think we got some interesting spots.
I will say
the traffic would suck.
I will say though, when you said Nashville, racing through the streets in Nashville would be pretty sweet too.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
And we can stop on the boulevard on our way there. So,
correct.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move along to our fast five picks. It feels a little quick to get here, but we already did our power rankings last Sunday. So if you guys want to go see our power rankings, go ahead and check it out on Sunday. But let's go ahead and get in here. And actually, I scored the most points last week, so you guys get to choose. Ben scored the second most and Josh the least. So what pick would you like? I think you already made your claim on what you're going to be picking this week. But Josh,
I'm going to go
have the floor.
I'm going to go pick two.
Go on pick two. So Ben, would you like pick one or pick three?
I'll do pick one.
All right. So you get the first overall pick. What do you got?
All right. So my first overall pick this week, guys, I'm going with the 11 of Denny Hamlin. When you go to Pocono, he's obviously going to be a factor to win. He goes into this race with 7 wins, and I feel like that 11 car, he is going to be a factor on Sunday. So I would keep an eye on him.
I was hoping he would fold to me, or I was hoping you would pick the 3 so I could get him at number 1. That's okay though. I like Tyler Reddick. I think he is.
That's weird because I'm pick 2. That's weird.
Oh shit, my fault.
And you know who I also like? It's do or die for Tyler Reddick. We talked about it after the race on Sunday. It's either get right this weekend or it's wave the red flag panic button, whatever you want to say. Wave a white one and surrender. I will be very concerned if we don't get at least a top 5 finish out of Tyler this weekend. So I'm going to go take the best driver at Pocono over the next gen cars and give
3
me
races.
Still counts. Give me Tyler Reddick.
I'm rocking with Christopher Bell. He's been doing good at some tracks that he isn't good at, and he's pretty good at this track. So give me C. Bell. And then Chase Elliott's been pretty good at this track too. And we saw at Michigan, we saw at Mexico City, 2 tracks that fit into his wheelhouse. He showed race-winning speed. So hopefully he doesn't get caught on a stupid strategy like he did at Michigan and can capitalize here.
All right. So my second pick this week.
I'm up. Why are we just gonna I get it, guys. We started the podcast late because I needed to get on late. Doesn't mean you get to skip me in my picks. All right. And by the way, Ben, you're not getting him this week. I'm taking William Byron. Why? Because Ben's not allowed to have him. Only reason I'm taking him. All
right.
Now it's your turn, Ben.
All right. There we go.
You get 2 picks, Ben.
I got you. Just going through this list right here. I'm going to take the 5 of Kyle Larson. I feel like this is going to be a good race for him to try to get that flow back a little bit. And, I expect that 5 card to be up in the front. So looking at this list right here.
So we got a Hamlin Larson 1-2.
Just going through here. I'm going to take the 23 of Bubba Wallace.
Damn you. I deserve that.
Yes, you do. Back to you, Josh. In case you're wondering.
Yeah, I assumed as much. And I'm going to just ride the fast car. It's had speed all year long. Bad luck. Give me Ryan Blaney.
All right.
I mentioned Bull had him on his little guess. He's got 2 wins here, so that's not a bad stat to have. I wish I could take Martin Truex Jr. I miss him. He was good at this track. Let's go ahead and take Alex Bowman. I like the speed I saw from him at good old Mexico City. Will he get a race, a good car 2 weeks in a row? Probably not. Jeff Gordon wouldn't allow that. Yeah, give me Alex Bowman in the 48. Sorry, Chenry, but it worked for you last week. And then I'm kind of on the fence all around here. It's getting to be some slim picking. So I'm going to go with the guy with a win here. I'm going to go with the guy who has been pretty fast everywhere we go. I'm going with Chris Buescher.
All right. My fourth.
I'm just not in this podcast. I'm just not in this podcast. Ben, you let me know when I can make my pick.
You go ahead and pick yours.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my bad.
So for this one, I'm going to take a flyer on a guy. You mentioned Truex is pretty good here. Well, I'm going to take the guy who is in Truex's car. Give me Chase Briscoe for, I think, like the 4th damn week in a row. I continue to take this.
You mean like 10th?
I continue just to take this dude. Eventually, he's going to find a way to victory lane, and it's going to look great on my mind. But this week will not be that week. But I'll take the top 10.
All right. My 4th pick this week, guys. I'm going with the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Obviously, it's been a great 2 weeks for Ty Gibbs. I mean, going back to Michigan where he finished 3rd, and last week at COTA led 27, or not COTA, Mexico City led 27 laps, finishing 11th. Cautions didn't really play into his favor though. But when you go to Pocono, though, it's been a pretty good track for him. He won the pole there. He was on track for, I believe, a top 5 last year until he suffered a blown engine. So, and we know he's one of those drivers below the cut line. I believe he's 24th in points. So, yeah, I expect that 54 to be up front, try to contend for some stage points. And who knows, maybe he'll be a factor to be a first-time winner. So I would keep an eye on that 54. And then my last – do I get one more pick?
Yeah. This is your last pick.
Gotcha. All right. Just got to go through this list here real quick. I'm going to go with the 43 of Eric Jones.
Yep.
I mean, when you look at the 43, though, they've been hitting on strides along with his teammate, John Hunter Nemechek. And you know, Jones, Pocono's been a pretty good track for him. And I look for him to try to flirt with that top 10 a little bit. So, yeah, I would keep an eye on that 43 for sure.
I'm going in between 2 drivers here, but I just have a feeling I've got to bet on him to be a top 10 driver. Give me Ryan Preece.
Damn it! Oh,
you can't.
You and your man crush. I thought you were going Keselowski.
No, it was either
your love affair.
It was either Preece or Hocevar. And Hocevar's on my shit list, so I decided to go Preece. As I said, I've already got a pre-race top 10 bet on him, or pre-qual top 10 bet on him, following a guy who does fantasy sports and runs the one and done Jots. He's got an all East Coast. I want to say they're all like New Hampshire, Connecticut type drivers. Top 10. Because there's just different drivers from up there. As I'm stalling, as Colton's very frustrated that I took Ryan Preece, and he should have knew I was going to take my man crush Monday. So at this point, it's becoming
Keselowski.
It's also becoming like man crush every day, basically.
And then that just leaves me. I mean, Brad's been all right. He had a good finish at Michigan, finally. Do I go with Brad? Do I just dig deep? Fuck it, Josh Berry. Why not? He's been absolutely terrible for like the last 10 weeks, so it's about time for him to turn it around. And the 21 has some special magic. So there we go. So we go to our winners, but first a little recap. Ben's got Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Bubba Wallace, Ty Gibbs, Eric Jones, all top 10 finishes right there. Josh has Tyler Reddick. He'll finish 15th. William Byron, he'll have a blown engine or something stupid. Ryan Blaney will definitely have a blown engine. Chase Briscoe will get you a top 10. And then I didn't get your last one. Oh, yeah, Ryan Preece. He'll get you a top 10. You two love each other. Myself, Christopher Bell, I'm confident he'll get a top 10. Chase Elliott, he'll finish 15th. Reddick's already finishing 15th, so Chase Elliott will finish 16th. Chris Buescher, he'll find a way in the top 10. Alex Bowman, blown engine after winning stage 1. And then Josh Berry, DNF. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I literally, right as soon as I picked Buescher, I was like, I should have not picked Bowman because he can't have 2 good weekends in a row and should have went Jones. But that's what I did. I picked what I picked. So let's go ahead into our winner picks. Ben, you went first, so you go ahead and pick the winner first.
All right, so I'm going with the 24, William Byron. The last few weeks he's been in contention to. You okay there, buddy?
No, I'm not. That's how I was supposed to get my double up points. Damn it, Ben.
But overall, though, the consistency this 24 brings to the track every single week. I mean, he's dominated these races. We saw it at Darlington, Charlotte, and a couple weeks ago at Michigan. And I just have this feeling he's finally going to break through to get that second win of 2025. So I am taking the 24 of William Byron.
I'm also taking Byron. I think it's a get-right spot. He's got to find a way to victory lane one of these times. He's due. He's been the fastest car on the intermediates. The speed is there. If you're gambling, man, the 8-1 before qualifying is actually pretty damn good odds. Just throwing that out there to win the race. Everybody's going to be on Hamlin, but I got a feeling, as Ben mentioned, that William Byron he's just due. There's no other way to say it. The man's due.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh, for making this so much easier for me. Give me Denny Hamlin to win the race. I was going to follow Ben wherever Ben goes, but you picking Byron counteracts Ben's good luck, so it's going to be somewhere in between. Thank God I can stick with Denny Hamlin because I was ready to go with William Byron. So give me Hamlin to get the win, and yeah. I have a gut feeling about him as well. Everyone has that gut feeling, but me hearing Josh has a gut feeling for Byron turns me away from Byron. And we've seen how Byron has finished races here recently, so not very well. Give me Hamlin to get the job done. Probably because he saved tires, and tires are somehow an issue here. So
yeah. They did mention, like, now mind you, Goodyear already says this, but on the draft, win the race. If you don't follow them, they do a draft every week, similar to us, but they pick one driver from each team. Pretty cool concept. It used to be part of their DFS little world community, but they mentioned that like Goodyear has put an emphasis on tires being tire wear being a thing in this race, which means we know the tires won't be a problem and they'll be perfectly fine. But the ones on the left, they're going to be using from basically like half the intermediates. And the ones on the right side are going to be the tires that they used in the Brickyard last year. So tire wear hopefully is a thing, and NASCAR will be an awesome race this weekend. Because I do like Pocono.
Which means Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson 1-2. So Ben wins regardless. Great drafting, guys. Guys, isn't me and Josh. Are there any final thoughts as we wrap up the show today, going into Pocono? I don't really have any. I feel like there's kind of a set contender list here, and there'll be some shocking guys. There'll be some guys that fall out, and that's kind of just where we're at in the summer. But we're about ready to get into the in season tournament, which is pretty fun. Switching to TNT, I had to cancel my Prime membership, so I will not be able to watch the race this week. But they actually, I need to make sure they didn't, because they charged me. I think they took it out, but I don't know. That was just something thinking out loud here. Anyways, final thoughts, Ben.
I mean, overall, just looking forward to this Pocono race. And I'm also, just like Mexico City last week, I'm curious to see how these drivers that are on the bubble or below the bubble will perform at Pocono, what kind of strategies they'll bring to the table. Restarts will be a factor, pit strategy will be a factor, see what these teams can do to try to get those stage points. And who knows, possibly pull out a win. So, it's crunch time as we get into summer. We're in playoff talk right now, and these guys are going to do whatever it takes to possibly get a win and get those playoff points. So it's going to be fun to watch on Sunday.
Let's take a quick gander at the old bubble, playoff bubble. You got Chase Elliott's pretty secure. These are people without wins, but there's six spots right now open. Chase Elliott's secure again. He's up like third in points this week. No, fourth. They did it weird on here. Anyways, Chase Elliott's good. Tyler Reddick's good. Bubba Wallace is all right. Yeah, he's got a pretty good cushion. And then we get into Chase Briscoe. He's got about a 40-point cushion. Alex Bowman's got about a 22-point cushion. And then Chris freaking Buescher is on the cut line right now, courtesy of Josh Berry, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Austin Cindric, and Joey Logano. Actually, no, he has more points than Chris Buescher. But Cindric, Berry, and Van Gisbergen are who we have to thank for Buescher being on the cut line right now and possibly missing yet another playoffs. This is ridiculous. I do not like this. This is unfair. And it's also unfair that Ryan Preece is not in the playoffs right now. 17th in the point standings. He's about 19 points back of Chris Buescher. And then you look at Michael McDowell, who's had a solid year. He's still a ways back. But really, if we didn't have Shane Van Gisbergen win a race, and I hate to say it, but Josh Berry doesn't deserve a playoff spot either with how he's been performing. I don't know if that's him or the car or what's going on, but been a lot of DNFs, been a lot of ugly racing from that 21 team. Reverting back to the Harrison Burton days. It was a fun couple weeks though. And hopefully Josh Berry turns around. I'm not trying to say Josh Berry is a terrible driver. I think he's a great driver. I think there's just some growing pains going on with the team.
Colton, I was going to ask, do you also think potentially they're just trying different things for the playoffs since they're in already? You know what I mean?
It could be. They're doing a pretty bad job of it. if that's the case, they need to try some different things. I would argue. So really, it's the Van Gisbergen win has kind of taken the sails out of this playoff cutoff battle that was brewing, because you got a 20 Priest is obviously Priest, McDowell, Dinger, Kyle Busch, Carson Hocevar, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Eric Jones, John Hunter Nemechek are all within 70 points of the cut line, and Ty Gibbs is even there. Zane Smith, honestly, actually is also kind of in that category, but not really. But those guys are all if they go off, they can dethrone Buescher. But at the end of the day, if one of them win, it also doesn't matter. Now Alex Bowman's on the cut line, who's had a lot of sabotage on his season, so hopefully he can get that. And then if another guy wins, then it's Chase Briscoe. These are all people that deserve to be in the playoffs here. Yeah, and we're not seeing that. And that's just brings us back to the good old, age-old, week-old. Every week we talk about this winning your in system.
That's what I was just going to say, Colton, is you're saying if somebody wins. I'm telling you, somebody's going to win from that bottom tier. It's going to happen. There's too many road races that are coming up. There's too many, or there's one more Daytona, obviously. We're going to have at least two dudes below the cut line, win a race before the year's over. Because I told you already, Ty Gibbs is definitely going to be one of them. And I think we've all talked about it. Carson Hocevar is probably going to be another one potentially.
Yep. Well, now that we got our weekly, because we do need to check in on that playoff bubble definitely every week going into it.
10 races left.
2 races left. I will crash out if Chris Buescher does not make the playoffs again. I will crash out even harder if Alex Bowman does not make the playoffs. And then even harder if Chase Briscoe doesn't make the playoffs because, boom. Anyways, any last thoughts? Josh?
I got a feeling you're going to be crashing out here in about 10 weeks, Colton.
Well, thank you all for listening, watching, whatever you are doing it on. Be sure to check out our TikTok, Twitter, our Instagram, Facebook. We got all of those now. We're actually having a meeting literally about 30 minutes from now to kind of talk about our strategies on that. So you'll be seeing more consistent content coming out on that within the next couple of weeks. But we're still kind of figuring all that out. So bear with us with that. But be sure to go follow us there so you can see what other stuff, because a lot of it is going to be some original content, some of the funny moments from this stuff, but also some original content as well. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to also listen to us on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, so you don't have to, have the phone propped up and all that awkward stuff. And be sure to follow us on Twitter. Myself, I said that twice, but I mean follow us personally. Myself at LFC__99, Josh at JNorth1989, and Ben at Ben Miller PXP. Fellas, thank you for coming on the show, and we will see you all Monday, I guess. We'll see. It's a hectic weekend coming up, not only for myself, but I know for sports in general. So we'll see when you see us next. Tuesday at the very latest, I would say. Yeah. Peace.